Hello, everyone. Father Kevin back here with you in this third video installment of this series as we continue to travel through these times. I want to talk a little bit today about hunger. I don't mean world hunger right now, but what I want to talk about today is we're in the season of Lent, where part of Lent involves fasting as opposed to feasting. Fasting where we intentionally cut back on things we enjoy. Well, first of all, food in general, but also things we enjoy is kind of to refocus us. And on the first Sunday of Lent, I gave a homily about why do we fast. And if you want to go listen to that, visit franklinhardincatholic.com and .org and visit, look up my first installment, my first homily for the first Sunday of Lent. We'll talk about why we fast, but ultimately why we fast is to point us to God. That this idea of this time of having some intentional hunger is ultimately to orient us to God, to remind us of our hunger ultimately for God, that what we're made for, what we hunger for ultimately is for something more than anything this world can provide. That at the end of the day, God is ultimately the fulfillment of all our desires. During this time when we haven't been able to gather for Mass, to receive the Eucharist, for us as Catholic Christians, the tangible physical sign of Jesus' presence with us, his presence, body, blood, soul, and divinity, tangibly, physically present with us that we receive. People have been telling me that they hunger for the Eucharist, that a number of people have told me how much it pains them to not be able to receive the Eucharist for this weekend and for the foreseeable future. And ultimately, this hunger for the Eucharist is a hunger for God. And so while we're in this strange time of not being able to gather to receive the Eucharist, being unable to receive his body, blood, soul, and divinity, his tangible presence with us, this time of deepening is a time of deepening our hunger for God. It also puts us in solidarity with our brothers and sisters throughout the world. There are parts of the world where faithful Catholics of the Church are unable to receive the Eucharist on a regular weekly basis. When I was back in 2011, I spent a summer in Honduras down there. And in some of those villages in the mountain of Honduras, the people of the church only saw a priest once every few months, sometimes only a few times a year, because of the rough terrain to travel to get there and their far remote removal from the larger cities where the priest resides. And there were some people that would only receive the Eucharist once, maybe twice a year. I remember that summer when I was in one of those villages, El Zapote, that they had the opportunity to be able to receive the Eucharist, as in reserve the Eucharist in their tabernacle on Corpus Christi. I remember being blown away by these people's deep hunger for God in the Eucharist. These people who only receive the Eucharist once, maybe twice a year, that they just had this profound reverence, that they pulled out all the stops. They had this huge festival, and they did everything. They spent days preparing for this incredible festival where they could receive the Eucharist on Corpus Christi. What a beautiful demonstration of that deep hunger for God. And how easy it is for us to sometimes take that for granted. So let this be a time for us of deepening this hunger, ultimately for God. Because that's what the season of Lent that we're in is about. And now this strange time we're in lends itself to that, reminding us of what we're ultimately made for. So I want to share with you a quote that someone shared with me about the pain of not being able to receive the Eucharist in this hunger. Someone said to me, they said, It literally brought me to tears, just realizing again how much it hurt not to be able to receive Jesus in the Eucharist. But also, it made me have a renewed and deeper gratitude for the gift of the Eucharist. And that they went on to say that I'm especially convicted of all those times that I've been distracted in receiving him, those many times I've taken for granted the gift of being able to attend Mass, to receive Christ in the Eucharist. So let us use this time to realize to not take such gifts for granted. And let us deepen that hunger for God as we continue in this Lenten season. Peace be with you. God bless you. Know that I continue to hold you all in prayer. I will be back with you again for live stream Mass tomorrow morning at 8:30 and another video tomorrow. Peace be with you. God bless you. Amen.